sometimes it's great to run into like a brewery, grab a growler, go to jazz in the park on a summer day. Can you come into a winery in Denver? Maybe like get a to-go like can or something like that.
A bag for those that
a bag.
Yeah, both of us offer to-go products, and it was one of the things that we really wanted to do when we started. And ours is a metal growler. One of the things that we didn't like about some of the brewery growlers is they're made out of glass. So you just mentioned, I'm going to go grab some beer and take it to the park. Well, a lot of parks you can't take glass to. So we wanted a nice insulated metal growler that you pop in, your Viognier, your Chardonnay, take it to the pool, and sit there and drink a whole bottle of Chardonnay out of the growler. Nobody would ever know.
You're talking my language.
So if I came into Blanchard and bought one of these growlers, do I just like bring that back later to fill it up, or what's the deal?
Our program is you bring it back to fill it up, and you get 20% off the bottle price. So it encourages people to continue to come back. It's environmentally friendly. We're not wasting a bottle. We both serve wine on tap at our places. It's just better for packaging, better environmentally friendly. We're not wasting bottles and corks and labels and all that stuff. So same with the growler. It's that refillable vessel. And it's just a great looking water bottle as well. My kid takes it to school every day.
Nice. That's fucking awesome.
I feel like you might run into trouble there. But that's a PTO meeting waiting to happen.
I'm teachers, the kids have the same bottle and nobody knows what anybody's got.
Your kid's gonna mix up their water bottle with the teachers, and the kid's gonna be like drunk. Like, it turns out Miss Smith has been pounding Chardonnay and doing arts and crafts. It's like Miss Lippy out there doing it.
Huffing glue.
Yeah, everyone does it. Well, Ty, how about yourself? I forgot the question. I started thinking about Miss Lippy dancing. Y'all do, to-go guys?
Yeah, and that's kind of our name dances around that very topic. Carboy is a vessel for both fermentation or storage of wine. So the idea was to kind of repurpose the name Carboy to insinuate wine growler. So ours are 1 liter fills. And we have, I think, at present 14 different options from which to choose. 7 whites and 7 reds, and you can fill at the winery and then consume and then repeat. Bring it back and repeat. And as he said, it's very green, environmentally friendly. You can fit in the kegs. We use 26 bottles per keg. And so even for storage, if you think about the footprint and a pallet of 20 kegs is, when you do the math, it's
a lot of bottles.
Conducive for storage. Certainly.
So question though, how much? What are the price range we're talking about on kind of a liter fill from Carboy?
What's a liter of cola cost?
A liter of again, variety dependent, region dependent, right. But anywhere from 22 to 56. So it's pretty large range.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and friendly, and we'll harp on yours as well. What James?
We're about the same price range, about 25 to 45.
Oh, booyah! Okay, so look at that.
2 people come in, it's 12 bones. You're out at the park sipping on some wine.
Yep.
From Colorado, and if you're lucky enough to go to Carboy or Blanchard, you're supporting veterans as well.
That's a great transition, Chris. So we've talked a little Denver, and before we dive into our Colorado-centric segments that we do every week, we kind of want to ask y'all a little bit about not only your service, but because we are very thankful for that. But we want to talk a little bit about how the veterans and residents, we are, like you mentioned, Melissa, we are in the WeWork building. Y'all kind of, there's a partnership that's an agreement there. We want to give a shout out to not only the WeWork folks, but also those that are in the veterans and residents, and see how we can possibly shed some more light on that, the process and what the program is all about. Can we dive into the nitty gritty? We tell our listeners a little bit about how you got the sick ass setup, how, y'all all became friends. I mean, is there like a commonality here? Shine a little light for me here. I'm in the dark.
Okay. The WeWork Veterans and Residents program is powered by Bunker Labs. Bunker Labs is a nonprofit that helps veterans start and grow their businesses. And WeWork has just been a tremendous support in that by agreeing to provide office space and a support system for that program in now 14 cities in the United States. Denver, because we're awesome and we're a great startup scene here, was the pilot for the entire nationwide program. So we are just wrapping up our 3rd iteration of the program here. It's a 6-month program, and I was fortunate enough to be able to participate this past 5 months. And we're concluding our program at the end of January. Today is the last day that we're accepting applicants for the next group, which starts in March. And they'll be in here for 6 months as well. I don't know if any of those people will be beverage or wine focused. I hope there will be, but it's a new mixed bag every group, and we have everything from drone technologies to other kind of more military specific applications to people who are pursuing photography, design, even Altus Farms, which they were part of the last cohort, and they developed urban farming structure that's super efficient here in Denver, and they're providing a lot of like fresh greens grown here locally in a very hydro savvy fashion. So it's cool because then some of us we're very different, but we can kind of overlap and share and use this kind of military bond we have to come together and support each other in business. And it was just kind of through chance that I found other veterans in the wine community here. But it was really cool, awesome experience to be able to do that and kind of connect on that level.
2 questions. First question, if somebody wanted to apply for the next system that starts in March, how would one go about doing that?
Well, today is the last day for applications.
Just kidding.
Yeah. So they can still do it until today, or I guess January 3rd, and they would just Google We Work Veterans and Residents and fill out the application there. But it runs every 6 months. So, the most you'd have to wait is 6 months for the next cohort, which will overlap Denver Startup Week. And they can find out more information there. Also on bunkerlabs.org.
There we go. So bunkerlabs.org. Second part of this question. How did y'all know each other before today, or are we all bonding over booze because of me? Get out of here. Are we all best friends now?
Yeah.
So did y'all not know each other before here today? Or
We had had some email correspondence prior, but this is the first day I've had the pleasure of drinking with Melissa.
Nice.
And Melissa found me through the wine scene,
Yeah.
social media and the wine scene, wine festivals. And we've known each other for a couple of years just through the wine scene as well. I came into Carboy a couple times and introduced myself. And, this collaboration within both the wine business as well as the veteran community needs to be even greater. And it has been helpful. Even though we've been around for 10 years in California, we were new to the Colorado wine market. So we did actually reach out to Carboy a couple times, ask them advice. They gave us some suggestions as we're going through the process. We didn't end up having to use it, but they offered to help, do some bottling for us and help kind of incubate us a little bit along the way. So again, thank you for that. But it was important in our startup as well. When we started out in California, we were incubated by another small winery, just 2 guys crushing a couple tons of grapes in the corner of somebody's facility. And, we've grown along the way that we've now incubated 5 or 6 different wineries in our space. You get a
what
couple.
What do you mean by incubated?
You get a couple young kids or a husband and wife or somebody that says, I'd like to start a winery. I don't know what I'm doing. How do I make wine? How do I start this company? And you come in and you kind of coach them along the way, and you introduce them to vineyard sources. You help them buy some grapes. You bring them in. You teach them how to make wine. You give them a little space in your winery and a couple barrels and some equipment, and they help provide labor for you. You help make wine for them.
Quid pro quo.
Quid pro quo. And we need winery workers. In our place out in California, it's about a 3-man operation. So when harvest comes around, you need workforce. And so you bring in 3 or 4 other companies to help incubate them. Now you've got a workforce. Now you've got a team of guys guys and girls who can help make wine. You've got more winemaking expertise. We've actually got 3 really good winemakers that make wine in our facility that help consult with us and help us along the way. So I love this community aspect, whether it's technology or winemaking. One of the ways we helped grow is I was part of a incubator group and entrepreneur group down in Colorado Springs when I was working at the Air Force Academy in their business school, and just some angel investment kind of groups, and we'd have people pitch to us, and I did some co-investment. I actually invested in a microbrewery down in Colorado Springs about 10 years ago. And through that investment is how I met 2 other Air Force Academy grads. They were the lead investors in the project, and I was the second investor in the project. We formed up a bond. And when we started our winery, about 2 years in, we needed some funding. And so those 2 other veterans funded us. And then when we came out here and opened this winery in Colorado, those 2 individuals re-upped with us. So, 3 out of the 4 owners/investors in the company are all veterans, and we met through an incubator type program. So both of those are really important, I think, to our industry.
Nice. So would you say that, like, I mean, obviously Colorado Springs and the Air Force Academy, you could do a whole heap of things when you leave the Air Force. Is there a lot of folks in the veteran community that are joining y'all in this the booze train, so to speak? Like,
Yeah.
do y'all know other folks? You're like, well, shit, actually Charlie, who was my friend over here, he works here and there. Like, it's not ancestral like it would be in the chef or the food industry, but it seems like there's a tight-knit community in the same sense.
I think the problem we have is not that there's not a lot of veterans starting up in the food and beverage industry. It's the awareness. It's the awareness.
Yeah.
Those veterans aren't talking to each other. Again, I didn't know.
Well, yeah, for instance, we know each other, but we didn't know we were both veterans, honestly.
Y'all just knew y'all both liked wine.
Yeah.
And so that was the passion out there.
Great commonality.
That we need that community to, again, I was lucky enough to find 2 investors that had made a lot of money post Air Force that are willing to support us. But there's a lot of veterans out there that are starting microbreweries and wineries and restaurants and these brands and don't know where to go for help and they don't know where to go for funding. And there's people out there that have that expertise and have that funding and they're not talking. They're not communicating with each other and it's hard to find them. And I think that's where the hole is in our veteran community. And that's where these type of WeWork programs help, is bringing those people together and let us know that, there are other veterans out there that are starting breweries and wineries and need help and need funding and need mentoring, and they don't know where to go.
Well, that's what's wild too, and that's what's great about this kind of food and beverage industry is the fact that it is a big community, and like you said, like people are willing to help you. Like we aren't all competing against each other for some greater goal. Like we had a guest on not too long ago with breweries. If some of their equipment busts one day and they need to get something out of the tanks, they can call another brewery down the street or around town and they'll help them out. And so you've got this community, which I'm sure is kind of similar to the structure you guys had in the military. You're this group of people that are here to help each other. So yeah, like this is awesome. If more veterans talk to each other, get around, everybody helps each other out. I don't know. It sounds cool.
No, I couldn't agree more. And you mentioned it like we had someone that mentioned, and we have some friends that work in the coconut water industry. And it's not like you're competing with one another because you want to see the whole demographic or, like everybody succeeds, like it's not like, oh, well, fuck them. They're, like we're glad that they went under. It's like if one succeeds, then everyone succeeds. Like it helps bring to light. And I think the Vino Pass does that very well. Also is that, if Blanchard and Carboy can coexist and also be successful, that's great for the Colorado wine industry.
There's no Vino Pass if there's only 2 wineries in Denver.
Agreed. Yeah. Exactly. So what do we need next? Like what does Colorado need next from the community? How can we help as listeners, as consumers, as semi-alcoholics? How can we help, Melissa, not only with the Vino Pass and gentlemen, how can we help as a community help not only the veterans and residents and the WeWork, but also the Vino Pass and the local, what we'll call a growing and booming economy?
I think that the biggest thing is just get out and try these local places. And whether you're drinking California wines that are locally available here in a tasting room, or you're drinking wines from the Grand Valley AVA here in Denver, you're still connecting in a local experience. And that's what I hope Vino Pass helps enable. But also, a lot of these wineries, they do want to be on wine lists and restaurants here. And it'll take people getting out and tasting the Viognier or the Cabernet Franc here to start saying, hey, why am I not seeing Colorado Cabernet Franc on these menus? Like, it's really good. It would go great with this food. And it'll just take that kind of time and awareness and people asking for it to start getting restaurants to bring local wines into the menu. And there are a few who are doing it, but right now they're just saying there isn't a lot of demand for people asking for Colorado wines and for people asking for things from local Colorado wineries. And so that would, I think
it is an education issue. And again, Vino Pass is part of that. Your podcast is part of that. I've been disappointedly surprised at how many people come into our tasting room in the first 3 weeks and say, wow, I didn't know there were wineries in Denver. Oh, it's really great to have a winery in Denver. And I almost feel bad because there are a lot of great wineries in Denver and I've been to them all. And why don't people know about these places? No, we're not the first kids on the block. We're like the 20th person on the block right now in Denver.